Hello everyone, I'm back with another unboxing video and review. I got a paint sprayer. This is the first one I've ever gotten. I've never used a paint sprayer before. So this is the Wagner Control Spray Max. It came in 3 boxes, believe it or not. It shipped from Amazon. It had an Amazon box on the outside. I already opened this up. I'll just get straight into the review video. And look at that, there's another box inside of this box. So here you go, this is what the box looks like. Instruction manual. This is what we have inside. So this is a 2-part system. It consists of the spray gun as well as the turbine. So this is, I suppose I probably should have started the video with telling you what exactly kind of sprayer this is. This is an HVLP sprayer, otherwise known as high volume, low pressure. It's used for spraying a variety of different types of paint. Thinner, you don't have to thin it as much as you would with other traditional sprayers, which is nice. It's very versatile, which is why I purchased it, so I can use it for doing staining or painting with latex paints without requiring too much thinning. You can do oil-based paints with it pretty easily. So it's very versatile and it's very adjustable. So a lot of paint sprayers will be kind of finely tuned to the specific task that you're trying to paint, or it might be for a specific type of paint or stain that you're using. So I went with this one because it can be used for a lot of different purposes. We'll get it out of the box here. So it comes with the base here, which basically, from what I've seen, this is the turbine. It creates airflow through here, and it's basically like a little shop vac, I guess, or a fan. So it generates air at like 2 psi, very, very low pressure, but high volume of air, which is why the opening for the air input is so big, because it's a large volume of air. So this is the hose that it came with. And here's the spray gun. And that's it. So my purposes for purchasing this is actually to stain my fence. The fence that I put in about 2 years ago is ready to be stained. I pressure washed it yesterday, let it dry overnight, and now we're ready to stain it. Looks like it comes with a couple different buckets here for mixing the paint. So it's got a metal container. It just unscrews. The siphon tube is right here on the gun. And it sucks the paint from the bottom, so it's a siphon system. Some paint sprayers that you've seen for automotive use have the reservoir that sits on the top, and it kind of looks like this. That's a gravity feed system, so it just drips down and enters the airstream. Whereas this one, it's a siphon system, so it sucks the paint up through the straw and mixes with the airstream from there. It also comes with this much larger plastic container, which I'll be using because I've got to spray about 7 gallons of stuff. Now you might be saying, why don't you get a large airless paint sprayer that you just dip in the bucket? Well, I thought about getting one of those, but I didn't think it would be as versatile for other uses. So the downside is it might take a little bit longer to do the job today because I'll have to stop and refill this like every couple of fence panels, but to me that's a small trade-off for being able to use this for other purposes in the future. This is a thinning cup, so what you do is you mix your paint or stain, whatever material you're just trying to spray, you mix it, you thin it with whatever material, either mineral spirits or water, depending on the type of paint that you're using, and then you just dip it in and you strain it out, and then it has a tiny hole in there, and you just measure how long it takes, the time it takes for it to drain this reservoir here through that tiny hole, and that'll tell you if it's set properly, which it does say in the manual. It outlines exactly how to do that. So it's like page 2 or 3. Material prep here. it tells you exactly how to go through that. So for oil enamel, you want the run-out time, so you fill this, it should take 25 to 40 seconds to empty. Oil stains, sealers, polyurethanes, no thinning required. If you have a varnish, it should take 20 to 50 seconds for it to strain through here. So it's basically like a strainer to basically get your viscosity of your paint proper. That's really all there is to it for the parts. So here's another part of the spray gun. Now I did read through the manual ahead of time, so that way I wouldn't be stumbling over this. And I apologize if my brain isn't with it or if I'm stumbling over my words today. I have been under the weather for a couple of days, so apologies if I'm not making sense today. You saw how that just snapped together. There's a little tab here. This is how it snaps together. It just twists right on. There's a little diagram there of a lock. And you put your hose in here, your cup on there. This turns to adjust the spray pattern. So you could do like a vertical, so your spray pattern goes up and down. You could do horizontal, so that way your spray pattern is more like a fan, or you could do a circle spray pattern. And this is the material adjustments. This is basically just a stop for how far back the trigger goes. It's pretty straightforward. So if you don't want a lot of material flow, you turn this down. And it has a plus or minus on there. So if you move this down, you see how that spring comes out? It makes it so the trigger doesn't go back as far. If you move it in, like this, it shortens up the travel distance between this nut here and the trigger, so you could pull it a lot farther. And that is how you adjust how much material flows through it. Now, there's also one other adjustment you should be aware of besides the spray pattern, material flow, and the thing that generates the air. Here's your power button. There is a airflow control right here. Pressure control, I should say. So if you have a really thin material you're spraying, you want it to be minimum. If you have a thicker material, crank it up. Now I'm pretty sure this is a latex-based waterproof stain that I'll be spraying, so I should probably have it pretty high up, but we'll see. I'll have a piece of cardboard that I'm going to be testing the spray pattern on just to see how it works. This is the stain that I got. It's a Behr waterproof, semi-transparent wood stain for fences and decks. If you don't know how to thin the material, read the instructions on the back, it'll tell you. This says do not thin product. However, I have seen people say that you can thin this with something called flow control, I believe it is, or Flow-Trol. It's a product that you buy that is it's a paint thinner that you mix. Otherwise, if it's a latex base, you should be able to just thin it with a little bit of water. I think 1 to 4 is how you thin it. 1 part water to 4 parts material. That just connects on there. The other end goes on here. It's just a friction fit. And we plug it in and we're ready to go. Alright, hopefully you can see that. I just plugged it in. Power cord is maybe about 10 feet long. And the hose is probably about 20, which is good, so you can set that off to the side and move this around as you see fit. And like I said, it's just a pressure fit for this. Just a friction fit hose. Doesn't clamp in or anything. So it is angled, so if you want to have it in this orientation, you can just rotate it around, make it comfortable for you, and just really give it a good shove to get it in there good. Let's go ahead and turn it on. From what I hear, it sounds like a shop vac or something, so let's see. Okay, it's pretty quiet on the low setting. It's always blowing air regardless of if you're actually pulling the trigger or not. All this is doing is siphoning the material up from the tube here injecting it into the airstream and mixing it with the air. That's all that trigger does. It's always blowing. So keep that in mind. Don't get alarmed by that. It's not going to be blowing paint if you're not pulling the trigger. That's full power. Moves a good amount of air. So you can see it's always blowing through this orifice here. And to adjust it, you just turn that to pick your pattern that you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some cardboard. I'm going to mix up my material that I'm going to be spraying in this reservoir. Take a couple practice runs, and I'm going to adjust it. Start on high. You can start in the middle. It doesn't really matter for the airflow. And just take a couple practice passes. See what the pattern looks like. If you're getting way too much overspray, turn the power down. If you're not getting enough material flow, make this adjustment. So you just have to play with it until you get the desired results that you're looking for. Now, unfortunately, it's kind of windy today, which isn't ideal conditions, so I'll just have to work with what I got. I've got safety glasses on so I don't get stuff in my eyes. Here's my test panel. This is Behr wood chip, semi-transparent. Seems like it's spraying it pretty good without actually thinning anything. Let's take a closer look here. You guys who are paint experts might know quite a bit more than I do. So I'm not getting a ton of overspray, which is good and expected from a HVLP if it was an airless sprayer. Apparently these things have a ton of overspray. Now there is no thinning that I did here. You can kind of see the pattern that it sprays. It puts it on heavy on the left and kind of medium on the right, with a little bit of really light application in the center of the spray pattern. So you're definitely going to have to do a lot of overlapping. So I think the best thing to do would probably just be, like I did here, I did about a 50% overlap, and it looks like it worked okay. So this stuff is really thick. Hopefully it looks pretty good on wood. I'm going to go ahead and get spraying here, guys. If you got any questions, leave them below. Please hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit like. Thanks for watching.